There is this super common misconception when it comes to dieting. And this is something that I don't think most people will actually ever figure out to begin with, which is unfortunate. But it is something that I've talked through with my clients and they've started to figure it out. People who are trying to lose fat, trying to build muscle, they're trying to lose weight, they're trying to get lean for the first time or get lean for the first time in a long time. They figured it out. And it all revolves around dieting. So the question you're constantly asking yourself might be, why can't I stick to a diet? Why can't I stick to a diet to save my life? And the answer is, I've actually already answered it for you. Now you might be thinking, wait, what the fudge? Like, did I miss it? So let me know if you can catch it. Why can't I stick to a diet? If you emphasize each word of this, you actually will have a different answer. Why can't I stick to a diet? 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 Now, every single time I said that sentence, you probably had a variety of responses in your head. Which, is it a me thing? Is it sticking to it? Is it because my why isn't strong enough? And the answer is, it's actually a combination of all of those. But I noticed that it's mainly the one thing. And it's the fact that you call it a diet. Why are we calling it a diet? When you say, hey, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't eat that right now, I'm on a diet. People think, oh, okay, that's pretty impressive. Like, that's kind of a flex, if you will. Like, okay, you're trying to focus on yourself, you're trying to get lean, you're paying attention to what you're eating. Like, I see you, okay. The thing is, by you calling it a diet, it is fun for a short period of time, and then you quickly realize, oh my gosh, I really can't do this thing anymore. This is completely unsustainable. I am not going to do this the rest of my life. Take keto, take carnivore, take all these crazy diets where they just completely cut out a macronutrient like carbs, or they'll just stick to one type of food the whole entire time. And then all of a sudden, after a few weeks, after a couple months, they lose a bunch of weight and they realize, wow, I really want to have like a pizza again. I really want to have a cookie and maybe a donut here and there now. Like, I've already lost 20, 30 pounds. I want to be able to enjoy this. And then all of a sudden, they go back to enjoying that cookie. They go back to enjoying that pizza. And because they haven't had it in so long, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to go off the rails now. Because I know in my head, I'm restricting myself. So by calling it a diet, there's a certain amount of restriction that revolves around that word. And this is something that I've actually had to change my own verbiage with as a coach over the past 7 years. Instead of asking, how's your diet going? Because that's technically inaccurate. We're not following a specific diet. We're following a set of parameters that allows you to lose weight, build muscle, get lean in the process, and sustain healthy habits. So instead of me saying, how's your diet going? I ask them, how's your nutrition looking? How are we doing this week? Is your nutrition okay? Have you fallen off a little bit? What's going on? And by changing that verbiage alone, you already psychologically implant this idea that, oh yeah, food, nutrition, that's all it is. I'm trying to be nutritious. I eat food all the time. We're all eating food all the time. But when you have the word diet to it, this psychological impact of restriction hits you so much harder, and it leads to something so much more unsustainable. Yeah, my diet's going good right now. But when the diet isn't going good, it's, oh, well, I've tried every diet in the book. I've tried keto, I've tried paleo, I've tried the Mediterranean, I've tried all these diets. I lost a bunch of weight, and now I gained all the weight back. And I always ask them, I say, why do you think you gained all the weight back? Well, you know, I lost it all, and it was going really well, but then I wanted to have that brownie, and then I wanted to start drinking again. And then I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that. And then they realize it's just this big snowball effect to where they saw a bunch of progress, and now they're just completely backtracked. Because they're like, well, I don't want to have to go back to my diet. It's so much harder when you're stressing yourself out about following a diet. And I think just as humans in general, we just have this rebellious nature where when we are told we can't do something, that's when we want to do it. So when you put this restriction on yourself, the moment someone tells me, dude, coach, like, you can't have any cereal for a month, all I can think about is the kinds of cereals I'm craving. What combinations of cereals am I craving? How often do I want to eat that cereal? Now it's like all I can think about is cereal, because I'm just constantly putting that restriction on myself. And that's the problem, is when you constantly say, hey, I can have 0 carbs for the rest of this diet, you're immediately, all you can think about is carbs. So it's kind of weird how that works out, where as humans, we just have this idea where we love being able to do, or we love having what we don't have. We love striving for something that we don't yet have. It's kind of like when you hear someone becomes a millionaire and then all of a sudden they're still super sad. Obviously, there's a variety of factors that play into that, but it's like, oh, I want more now. Now I want to become a multimillionaire. Now I want to become a 100 millionaire. Now I want to become a billionaire. And it's like that goalpost is just constantly shifting for them. So that's the same thing with your diet, is that by putting a restriction on yourself, you realize, dang, I can't do this the rest of my life. And that's something I like to say with my clients, is that like the goal is to first learn what you are doing. Let's pay attention. Let's track. Let's take pictures. Let's pay attention to our calories. What are you doing right now? And a lot of the times they realize that just by tracking, they start losing weight right off the bat. I just had a client recently. He lost, I think 10 pounds or 12 pounds in like his first 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks or something, just by tracking. I literally don't even think I gave him a caloric number to follow. He just started paying attention to what he was eating, and he knew that because I was going to be able to see that, he was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have that candy right now. I probably should have like a few drinks less than what I normally do. And he already lost like 10 or 12 pounds from it, just from that alone. And I notice that's a trend with a lot of my clients, is that they'll just lose stuff naturally as they're fresh into it. One, because it's easier for your body to actually do that. And then two, because they realize, hey, coach, like Elijah, he's going to be paying attention to what I'm eating. So I should probably pay more attention to what I'm eating myself and become aware of the problem. So by first becoming aware of what you are eating, it kind of wakes you up. It kind of snaps you out of it. But by following a set of parameters, as opposed to just, saying, hey, you can't have any of this ever, it makes it a lot easier. There's this plan called, like, if it fits your macros, it's fine. And what that means is calories are just essentially controls your body weight. Macronutrients are proteins, carbs, and fats, meaning the protein is great for building muscle, immunity, that sort of thing. Carbs are great for short-term energy, and fat is great for long-term energy. When I have something like McDonald's, as long as it fits within my caloric range and I am still getting a sufficient amount of protein in and balancing my carbs and fats out to control my hormones and control my energy for my workouts, then if it fits my macros, I can partake in it. I can eat it. And it gets so much easier to do that than it is to say, hey, you're never going to have McDonald's again. You're absolutely never going to have a coffee with any sort of creamer, any sort of sugar, any sort of sweetener, none of that ever again. That sucks. That genuinely sucks. And that's why most people fail what they would call their diets, is because they put that restriction on and they think that because they saw a bunch of results with it that they should keep going. But then all of a sudden they snowball in the reverse way and they see, oh my gosh, dude, how the heck have I gained all this weight back? I did all that work and I did all that suffering for no reason, but I don't know why. Like, why did I do that if I was just going to gain the weight back in the first place? And it's because they didn't build something that was sustainable. Something that was realistic, something that they could follow for the rest of their lives. And that's one of my biggest goals to my clients, is that I not only want to teach them what are the proper things to eat, how can we still enjoy our favorite foods while losing weight, while building muscle, but there's a certain amount of being more structured and having more of a mental strategy behind it than just ultra pure willpower. I'm just going to willpower my way through this diet. I'm just going to let the motivation carry me. Guys, nobody's motivated 100% of the time. David Goggins, I guarantee you, he's not motivated 100% of the time. Yes, you might have a lot of reasons to be motivated, but you don't feel that same like, ooh, yeah, I'm just ready to go today. You don't feel that every single day for the rest of your life. You might feel it for extended periods of time, and you might have a very strong reason why you want to do a lot of things, but that does not mean you are going to just keep that motivation and that's just going to keep flowing for you forever. So you have to fall back on your structure, on your discipline, for a lot of my clients, their accountability. A lot of them literally reach out to me saying, look, a lot of times I need someone to tell me what to do. I'll run through a brick wall for you. I just need you to tell me what to do. I work very hard. I understand a lot of these things. I have discipline, but you need to tell me what to do. And I need you to push me. And I need you to say, hey, do this, this, and this. And then when I don't do it, I need you to push me, help me get back on track. And that's part of my job, is that accountability. So once we built that structure out for them, once they have a sense of accountability, once they learn how to do this on their own, it becomes so much easier to actually sustain these habits over a longer period of time. And then that way, you don't have to feel like you're suffering all the time. Because when it comes to restraining and restricting yourself and realizing that it's like, is it a me thing? Is it the diet? How many times do you see people just hop diets? Oh, I'm gonna do carnivore this time. Okay, I lost some weight, but I didn't really like it. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to keto. Keto is honestly probably the biggest one. I think because it's more trending with my clientele over 40. That's just been around for so many years now. The amount I don't believe I've trained one single person who's done keto, lost all the weight, and actually kept it off. And it's literally just because of that reverse effect where they're like, oh, I can't give up these brownies right now. I can't give up like all these carbs. Like, I actually like rice. A lot of my ethnic household with rice, my Hispanics, my Asians, rice, absolutely huge and like darn near every meal for a lot of them. So when there's things like that where they don't want to give those up, and when they start to have them again, it gives them a sense of nostalgia, it gives them a sense of pleasure. Instead of completely giving those up, how about we just have it fit our macros? How about we just have it be the caloric value lower than what we're trying to do so you can actually lose the weight? That way you're still enjoying your favorite foods. You can technically eat 1,000 calories of Twinkies and still lose weight every single day. Now the thing is, you're going to feel like absolute crap eating Twinkies all the time. Your gut health is going to be messed up. Your stomach is going to hurt. And then you're going to think, oh my gosh, like I'm losing weight so fast, I just feel terrible. So there's a fine balance between eating healthy, eating whole foods, eating these things that are going to satiate you, eating these things that are going to help you lose the fat and help you build your body back up and your muscle back up. But at the same time, you can still enjoy a lot of your favorite foods. You just have to be smart with it, and you have to be disciplined to not go off the rails with it. A lot of my clients like to drink. For some of them, the idea of being a social drinker is a little bit different, because it's like, well, yeah, if you're socially drinking 2 times a week and you're just getting hammered 2 times a week, that is not helping your goals. That is not helping your fat loss. That is lowering your testosterone. That is stalling your progress. And if you want to get there faster, if you want to be more efficient, we have to be more disciplined with that. Not that you can't ever drink. Like I said, there's a certain amount of restriction. Not that you can never have cookies again. But it's that we're smart with it, and it fits our calories. It fits our protein goals. It fits our fats and carbs, where we can have control over this and still balance our hormones, still balance our gut health, still have the idea that I can lean out and I don't necessarily have to suffer doing this. So when it comes to sticking to a diet, it's way more psychological than just you trying to willpower your way through. Like I said, when you say, oh, I'm paying attention to what I'm eating or my food or my nutrition, I like the idea of using the word nutrition, because people hear that and they think nutritious, healthy. They think salad, they think fruits, they think vegetables, they think protein. Like, okay, I'm doing something that is restoring my health, restoring my gut, restoring my energy, giving the ability to lose the fat so I can have more energy, so I can do more with my life, so I can be more productive at work. All these good things. When you use the word nutrition instead of diet, it goes such a long way. And I've noticed that when I started to correct this with my clients, they feel a lot less pressure on themselves. And that's another thing too. When you use the word diet on yourself, I'm following a diet, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, especially if you're telling other people. Like I said, it's fun. You get a little bit of a dopamine hit when you do it about talking about your diet. But then you realize, wow, that was cool for about 2 weeks, and now I don't even want to talk about it anymore because I'm not following it, and I hate the idea that I have to go back to the diet because I put so much pressure on myself to not do these things that now all of a sudden it's like it's harder to get back into because of, I know the barrier of entry. I'm not motivated anymore. I know that I have to put extra work in now, and it's not fun, and it's not sustainable. So if you are looking for a more sustainable approach, something that you can build the proper habits, learn the education, stay accountable along the way while you're leaning out, there's a one-on-one coaching application in my description down below. Be sure to fill it out. Let me in on the details on what you're excited for, what you're trying to do, the goals you're trying to achieve, and then where you might be struggling with in this process. I'll reach out to you. I'll see if I can help you, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, stop calling it a diet, start focusing more on your nutrition, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.